Hello guys, today is Thursday, some day in September. Right, and today I wanted to talk about the far-right extremists in Germany and, well, toxic masculinity really. So, just recently there's been a case where the Germans have actually stormed or tried to storm the Reichstag because of the actions of the government during the coronavirus. Right, people know the protests and stuff like this, and there's lots of angry voices talking about how the extreme right groups are attacking the German government. And the problem with that is that it seems like that attack on the Reichstag has made the German government to reconsider their policies on economics and coronavirus in general, and now they're saying that, hey, we're having this recovery now over the last 2 months that we have made this quarantine is not as hard. So maybe we should not really piss people off any further. So we're going to do everything in our power to make the economy continue working. And let me take this opportunity to, over my usual kind of saying that, look, Germany is a very nice place to live, because it generally is. But today I want to take a very, very big, fat, brown, stinky dump on German government. It's the moments when, like this crisis, which really shows that the differences between the actual government, some of the good laws they're taking, and then a complete inability to deliver those things and make them viable over time by a bureaucratic machine as it stands. So for example, I have lost my job over the corona time. I've been living in one area and then I was moving to another area just about the same time. Registering myself for unemployment, as the government has told us, hey, stay in house for until the end of May, which is, I lost my job by middle of April. You have to stay at home, don't get out, do all the right things. So I ended up being registered already before in the center, in one district of Berlin, and moving to a different district of Berlin. So getting myself and some unemployment help due to losing my job was pretty easy at first. So I came in and said, hey guys, I lost my job, here's my letter of, having been fired, because of this whole thing. So, what more do I do? They go like, yep, no problem, right, here's your passport, okay, here's all the data we have on you. Great, here you go. Right, it wasn't much, just enough to cover like my rent and stuff like this. But because you are moving to a different district, you have to move your case to that district job center, as they call it. It took them, I contacted that job center in April. Until today, they still have not moved my case from one job center to another job center. That's all they had to do, right? All paperwork and all that. They made me go through dozens and dozens and dozens pieces of paperwork to do a simple switch between job centers. Right, so, and they still not finished. I'm kind of saying, okay, this is there. They go, oh no, send us this. And the situation was, for example, they needed another form to be filled out by my employer, which is by now, I simply didn't have even money to send this paperwork to my employer. And I'm asking them, okay guys, what's going on? How can I fix it? How can I make it fast? Because of the situation, right? We're all not in a very good situation, right? And for 2 weeks, they failed to tell me that, hey, actually, Your employer can do this online in about 10 minutes. Just give them a call, they can do it online. It's like, they all acting as if people are supposed to know all that stuff. And the thing is like, okay, fair enough, I'm a toxic male. The guys that attacked Bundestag, they're toxic, they're toxic males from extreme right that just want to kind of fight. Right? And as being a toxic male, I was in a situation where I was thinking, look guys, you know what, if I run out, like if I'm in a situation where I've got nothing to lose more, what I will do is I'll just simply pay a visit to their offices and set them on fucking fire, probably get myself arrested, get myself a warm bed to sleep in and the meals 3 times a fucking day, right? But at least make a fucking statement. I'm gonna go out with the bang, right? On the other hand, I was trying to kind of do stuff, walked all the way down to the local office of what is called an Arbeitsagentur, which is a place where I needed some documents from. It was shut, but you can drop some stuff in the post box and hopefully things are gonna work out, so you know. Here's the thing, right? Okay, I'm a toxic male, I'll admit to that. I'm not the best person in the world, fuck it, I admit to that, right? We're not in the best times, so you know, you might consider it like, okay, you know, shit happens, right? Very much like in England, where they paid some companies £500 million just so that those companies can send messages to what, nearly 100,000 disabled person that, well, you're not disabled anymore, right? You know, stuff like this, right? But when I got to that agency, there was a lady standing there, right? She needed some paperwork done. There is nobody in the office, despite the fact that when you talk on the phone, sometimes they will tell you that, hey, the offices are closed for the public, but there will be somebody there, so you might be able to get in and actually talk to someone if it's extreme enough, right? And the lady probably had the same information. She turned up there and she was told, nope, nobody's here, right? There's nothing we can do for you. There was just a security guard standing there saying, okay, look, just put your stuff in the box and fuck off. That's all, that's it. All he gave her is a brochure. Just give me a second. Yeah, this. I had something written on the back, but the brochure doesn't even have any emails, right? It's all just phone numbers, that's it, right? And that lady was essentially nearly in tears, right? She was standing there, and I don't know how many people are like this in Germany, but I think quite a few. I do think there's quite a few people which are in the same situation where they've been made to jump through a bunch of hoops again and again and again and again, doing more and more paperwork over this corona crisis, where they've lost their jobs or are on the verge of losing their jobs, but they're also made to do all this instead of being able to apply for jobs, which is this whole shebang with my job center, to be honest, put me back good 2 months on my job search, simply because I was in a situation where I did not have money to travel to interviews, right? Simple address change put me to that. What happens to other people, right? According to some newspaper articles, there's like up to 200,000-300,000 people which are still not receiving any benefits because they lost their jobs in the corona crisis, right? And you go like, okay, you call yourself social state, and many of those people are actually German citizens. I'm not, so I understand when these guys go like, yeah, you're not a German citizen, fuck you, motherfucker. Right, I do. Right, I do understand when they do to the Germans themselves, and when Germans go, hey, you put us through this corona thing, we did everything you said, and we're now fucked. And they starting to have demonstrations saying, hey guys, we're fucked, we've got nothing to lose. right? Yeah, it's very easy for the German government some German government can't standing there saying, yeah, they are extreme right, they're extreme right. They're just using those protests to do something wild. Like, are they? Are they extreme right? Guys, with all the honesty, right? Having to deal with this machine, having to talk with people who like you you make 4 phone calls into them, right? And 4 people will give you 4 different ways of information which are completely have nothing to do with the other, quite often contradicting one another. People are actually rightfully angry in here. And they're rightfully storming the Reichstag instead of setting shops on fucking fire. The shop owners are not guilty in that stuff. The Reich's government is. Okay, they're the ones who said do this, this and that. And if that shit doesn't work, fuck you, then people start going, well, we're gonna come and knock on your doors, you know. Those toxic men that are actually prepared to do something. And from my point of view, seeing what's going on, I would say they're not the extreme right as they claimed to be. Right? They are extremely right to do that. They're not extreme, they're just extremely right to do that. The toxic males that still have the balls to fight for something. The toxic males to still have the balls to say, you know what, guys, enough is fucking enough. Unfortunately, there's not that many of those toxic males left. I know I'm probably one of them. If I have nothing to lose, I'd probably, like I said, go and set their offices on fire just to make a statement. I'm a toxic man. I'm a toxic male. But the lady that was crying by the office of the German Arbeitsagentur, she is not a toxic male. She should not have to be there crying, just trying to sort something out so that she can fucking survive. Okay? They say males should fight for women. Well, those males attacking the Reichstag, they're fighting for her. Not for me, not for some weird shit. They're fighting so that shit like this does not happen. Okay, unfortunately there is not enough of those toxic males. I agree with that. In England there is no toxic males to do that. There's no toxic males to come into the government, into the parliament and knocking the fucking doors. Alright? In US, there is not enough toxic males to go out and defend their streets from the thugs and coming into their parliament and knocking the fucking doors. I mean, in US, there is so little toxic males that actually gave an oath to protect their country from enemies, external and internal alike, that it has to take a 17-year-old kid with a gun. And even then, those toxic males don't have a fucking balls to get out on the street and clean them up. They just all talk on fucking Facebook. Right? That's their toxic masculinity, right? That's all they can do. A bunch of fucking cowards. Takes a 17-year-old kid to stand up to a bunch of thugs and to go to jail. And even then they don't have the balls to do it. I think, guys, we need more toxic masculinity. We need more guys that will knock in the doors in the government, who will knock in the doors in the parliaments, who will protect the streets, who will fight on the behalf of simple people. We need more of that, not less. They are not the extreme right. They are extremely right to do so. And I challenge you to prove me fucking wrong. Thank you very much. Goodbye.